Hello and welcome to Let's Play Dragon Age Origins. This episode will be another lore episode where we get to know Zevran and give away all these gifts that are clogging up my inventory and, well, just kind of doing our thing. So first things first, let's start giving away these gifts. Fancy scroll, who gets that? When? We're pretty close. Alistair. Yeah, here. You get a
Oh,
fancy
thank you.
scroll.
That's very nice.
I might have to actually talk to these assholes first. Alright. Let's start with Alistair.
You know, maybe this isn't the best time to be thinking about this, but I've something to ask you. Chances are we'll be heading to Denerim soon. And when we're there, I wonder if we might be able to look someone up.
Ooh.
I'm not talking about a friend, exactly. And no, it's not that sort of friend either. The thing is, I have a sister, a half-sister. I told you about my mother, right? She was a servant at Redcliffe Castle and she had a daughter. Only I never knew about her. I don't think she knew about me either. They kept my birth a secret after all. But after I became a Grey Warden, I did some checking and, well, I found out she's still alive. In Denerim.
That's exciting.
She's the only real family I have left. The only family not also mixed up in the whole royal thing. I've just been thinking that maybe it's time I went to see her. With the blight coming and everything, I don't know if I'll ever get another chance to see her. Maybe I can help her. Warn her about the danger, I don't know. Could we? I'd appreciate that. If something happened to her and I never went to at least see her, I don't know if I could forgive myself. Her name is Goldana, and I think she remarried but still lives just outside the alienage. If we're in the area, then, well, it's worth a look.
Sounds good.
Something on your mind?
Any more questions?
Of course.
Oh god, there's a whole bunch of them. So we already got this one. Tell me about the Grey Wardens. No. Here we go.
You never asked?
That's a cheap answer.
All right. If you want the full explanation, I'll give it to you. The thing is, I'm used to not telling anyone who didn't already know. It was always a secret. Even Duncan was the only Grey Warden who knew. And then after the battle, when I should have told you, I don't know, it seemed like it was too late by then. How do you just tell someone that?
How about, by the way, I'm heir to the throne?
Yes, well, I suppose part of me kind of liked you not knowing. They treat me differently. I become the bastard prince to them, instead of just Alistair.
You've always been a
I know that
bastard,
must sound
Alistair.
stupid to you, but I hate that it shaped my entire life. I never wanted it, and I certainly don't want to be king. The very idea of it terrifies me. For all the good it does me, my blood seems certain to haunt me no matter what I do. I guess I should be thankful that Arl Eamon is far more likely to inherit the throne. If he's all right. Oh, I hope he's all right. And for what it's worth, I'm sorry for not telling you sooner. It was a dumb thing to do.
It's okay, Alistair.
I guess it's kind of a relief that you know now. Let's go. Something on your mind? Of course.
Alistair's probably one of my favorite characters. His sarcastic nature is just goddamn delightful. I don't care about that one. We're going through that one. What changes about you after the joining? It's like a super old question, right?
You mean other than becoming a Grey Warden? You know, I asked Duncan this too, and all I got was you'll
Yep, we've already
see.
gone through this. We're skipping.
Oh, it's not that Duncan wants to... I'd slurp down every dinner like it was my last. My face all covered in gravy. And when we sleep, it's even worse. You learn to block it out after a while, but at first it's hard. Everyone ends up the same, though. Once you reach a certain... The taint. It's a death sentence. And you wondered why we kept the joining a secret from the new recruits. There you have it. I guess he got what he wanted. I just wish it had been something worthy of him.
Okay, so we're done with Alistair. Let's move on to Zevran.
Here I am.
Oh, hang on. I gotta give you some gifts first. I'm really taking him out into combat either. Alright, he favors... I think the...
Gloves? You're giving me gloves? What for? I did not mean to sound ungrateful. It is just... Wait, these are Dalish, are they not? My mother was Dalish, and had a pair very similar to these. The leather was less thick, and it had more embroidery, but these are very close, and quite handsome. Do I seem surprised? Perhaps I am. Still, I appreciate the fact that you even thought of me. No one has simply given me a gift before. Thank you.
You're welcome, Zevran. You beautiful elf man, you. Alright, what other shit can I give him? Nope. Painted skywall, almost perfect ores made of polished blackstone. That's probably a... here you go, have that.
How nice.
Songwood, no. There you go, have an oxbone.
How nice.
Good, rare single run of the spirit. Oh, it's spirits?
How nice.
Dude! Alright, Zevran, apparently we need to have a... It's plus 26? I think that's gonna go to Morgan.
Interesting. Interesting.
That I've just maxed out like all...
Flowers? Thank you. They're very pretty. These were her favorite. I haven't seen these in such a long time. They smell just like Mother used to. Thank you. Thank you so much for remembering.
Well, that was not as impactful as I thought it was
I've
going to
a question, if I may.
be. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, here's the thing. I swore an oath to serve you, yes? And I understand the quest you're on, and this is all very fine and well. My question pertains to what you intend to do with me once this business is over with, as a point of curiosity.
Oh, god damn it. Yeah. Whatever you want, dude.
Would I? And what if I didn't wish to leave?
Why wouldn't you go if you have the chance? They're always a used to for handsome elf. Good god. What do I use a friend?
Indeed. I might even be glad to call myself such, come to think of it. It is good to know what my options might be, but that is for another time. For now, we have much to do, yes?
Yes, we have a lot of lore to get through.
What say you? By all means. Well, the Crows would have you believe that it is an involved process that takes years of training. The sort that tests both your resolve and your endurance. Survive that process and maybe, just maybe, you're good enough to start being considered one of them. But quite frankly, the truth is that all it requires is the desire to kill people for a living. It's surprising how well one can do in such a field. I don't know about that. It's simply a slightly different skill set from your average killer as I see it. An assassin simply specializes in striking from stealth. and in maximizing that first attack to be as lethal as possible. Debilitate your foe, either by poison or by crippling their limbs, makes any follow-up combat you need to engage in that much simpler. See? Getting paid for the act is beside the point. An assassin is more a tactical choice than a lifestyle. Of course, the crows like to pretend that their abilities are trade secrets, shrouded in shadows and wrapped in a blanket of mystery. So let's just keep this between you and me, shall we? Hmm?
You got it. Secret safe with me, bud. Let's clear all this stuff. Item received. Screenshot.
What say you?
Now we'll ask him in a minute.
By all means.
Why do you want to leave? There we go.
Well now, I imagine that's a very fair question. Being an assassin, after all, is a living, at least as far as such things go. I was simply never given the opportunity to choose another way. So, if that choice presents itself, why should I not seize upon it? To be truthful, I didn't even know the crows existed when I joined them. I was but a boy of 7 when I was purchased, for 3 sovereigns, I'm told, which is a good price, considering I was all ribs and bone and didn't know the pommel of a dagger from the pointy end. The crows buy all their assassins that way. Buy them young, raise them to know nothing else but murder, and if you do poorly in your training, you die. Oh, I don't know about that. The crows who are actually good enough to survive come to enjoy some of the benefits. In Antiva, being a crow gets you respect. It gets you wealth. It gets you women. And men. Or whatever it is you might fancy. But that does not mean doing what is expected of you always. And it means being expendable. It's a cage, if a gilded cage. Pretty, but confining. As for what I'll do in the future, presuming that there is one, I truly can't imagine. It might be interesting to go into business for myself, for a change. Far away from Antiva, of course. For now, naturally, I go where you go. And here I am, happy to be had. Isn't it wonderful how things work out that way? Come now, enough chit-chat. Talking about the crows summons them, you know. Any Antivan fishwife could tell you so.
Yo!
What say you? By all means. Oh, you wish to know about Antiva, do you? The only way to truly appreciate it would be to go there. It is a warm place, not cold and harsh like this Ferelden. In Antiva it rains often, but the flowers are always in bloom. Or so the saying goes. It is fine enough with its dogs and its mud. The people are spirited, even if they can't tell the difference between an assassin and a mere killer. I hail from the glorious Antiva city, home to the royal palace. It is a glittering gem amidst the sand, my Antiva city. Do you come from someplace comfortable? No? That is too bad. If you were, then surely you would spend as much time boasting about it as I do. You know what is most odd? We speak of my homeland, and for all its wine and its dark-haired beauties and the lilo flutes of the minstrels, I miss the leather the most.
Leather?
It may as well be. But not this once, no. I mean the smell. For years, I lived in a tiny apartment near Antiva City's leather-making district, in a building where the crows stored their youngest recruits, packed in like crates. I grew accustomed to the stench, even though the humans complained of it constantly. To this day, the smell of fresh leather is what reminds me most of home, more than anything else.
Huh.
Oh, not so long, I know. It is my first time away from Antiva, however, and the thought of never returning makes me think of it constantly. Before I left, I was tempted to spend what little coin I possessed on leather boots I spotted in a store window. finest Antivan leather. Perfect craftsmanship. Ah, but I was a fool to leave them. I thought, Zevran, you can buy them when you return as a reward for a job well done. More the fool I, no? True, and it's a comforting thought. One simply never knows what is to come next. How could I have suspected I would end up defeated by a handsome Grey Warden? A man who then spares my life? I could not.
Zevran, you get nasty, boy.
Even Grey Wardens who spared the lives of assassins? Understood. Now, if it is all the same to you, I would prefer not to speak more of Antiva. It makes me wistful and hungry for a proper meal.
I get a +2. We're making progress.
What say you? By all means.
Okay.
And why not? There are many things to enjoy about being a crow in Antiva. You are respected, you are feared. The authorities go out of their way to overlook your trespasses. Even the rewards are nothing to turn your nose up at. As for the killing part, well, some people simply need assassinating. Or do you disagree?
Well, I mean...
Now there's an interesting word, innocent. How many men do you know who can claim to be truly innocent? But if you're talking generalities, such as children and relatives and bystanders and such, never on purpose. But it happens. It's unfortunate, but death comes to us all. If not me, then some wasting disease, or a fall down the stairs, or at the hands of a darkspawn. It's all relative in the end.
I guess.
Death happens, as we like to say. And when I get paid for it, death happens more often. As far as enjoying the act of killing itself, why not? There is a certain artistry to the deed. The pleasure of sinking your blade into their flesh and knowing that their life is in your hands. It is not pleasure, per se. Nothing sexual. It is more a sense of satisfaction. A feeling of power. Does that make sense? No matter. There are many things I did not enjoy about being a crow, of course. Having no choice, being treated as an expendable commodity, the rules. Oh, so many rules. But simply being an assassin, I like it just fine. I will continue to do it if I can, even if I am not a crow. Honestly, could you picture me doing something else? Whereas I am content merely doing what I happen to be good at. It's a talent that not many come by, honestly. I don't see why I need not pursue it. Of course, all these thoughts are moot. Chances are still good that you and I will perish, eaten by darkspawn or slain by the crows at some point. Very gruesomely, I imagine. But it is pleasant enough to chat about. Come, let's move on while our boots still have some wear in them.
Got a +1 on there, even though
What say you?
not a big fan of the assassin nonsense. Alright, I think we have one
By
more
all
here.
means.
Oh, god damn. I added another one.
My adventures? I'm hardly an old man just returned from across the ocean, am I? Should I shake my fist at nearby children while I talk about the good old days? Falling down a flight of stairs is an adventure. Falling into someone's bed, also an adventure. I am assuming what you're looking for are professional anecdotes. Let's see, my second mission ever for the Crows was a bit intriguing. I was sent to kill a mage who had been meddling in politics.
Oh. Is the circle of the Magi?
How should I know? I got the impression it involved sex, but then I get that impression about most everything. Odd, really. As it turned out, the mage in question was quite a delightful young woman. Long, divine legs, as I recall. I caught her in a carriage on her way to escape to the provinces. After I killed her guard, she got down on her hands and knees and begged for her life. Rather aptly, I might add. So I joined her in the carriage for the night and left the next morning.
Wait. You spared her?
Well, yes, twice, actually. Then she decided to try and use me instead. The woman had actually convinced me to speak to the crows on her behalf. What can I say? I was young and foolish at the time. Then, as I was kissing her goodbye to return to Antiva City, she slipped on the threshold and fell backwards out of the carriage. Broke her neck. Shame, really, but at least it happened quickly.
Shit.
Not actually, no. I was a bit unimpressed by the development at first. Then I found out that she had told the driver to take her to Janellen instead. She had planned to lose me in the provinces. I would have looked very foolish to the crows. As it was, my master was very impressed that I had done such a fine job of making it look like an accident. The Circle of Magi was unaware of foul play, and everyone was happier all around.
Well, that's a hell of a string of events.
I got stupid, in fact, and very lucky.
Valid.
It was after that when I learned that one needn't let a pretty face go to your head. Professionalism was key. That's my moral of the day, you see.
A wise
And
lesson.
one that not everyone learns, I'm sad to say. But that's enough tale spinning from me for the moment. Talking about the mage has made me a bit nostalgic, I'm afraid. Ah, the good old days.
I'm gonna go get a cane for you, bud. Honor dexterity. Oh, that's right. She gets cunning, he gets dexterity. Damn, +6? Hells yeah.
What say you?
I say...
By all
We have
means.
one more? So ready to the ventures. Well, let's do this one, we'll go back
I know
to the
little
adventures
enough
again.
at the Dalish other than the fact that my mother was one, or so I was told. She had fallen in love with an elven woodcutter and accompanied him back to the city, leaving her clan behind for good. And there, of course, the woodcutter died of some filthy disease and my mother was forced into prostitution to pay off his debts. Oldest tale in the book.
God, that sucks. So you're an assassin and a son of a whore.
Is it? It seemed normal enough a tale growing up. No different than the other elven boys in the whorehouse. I didn't know my mother either, of course. She died giving birth to me. My first victim, as it were. We were all raised communally by the whores. It was a happy enough existence, ignoring the occasional beating. Until eventually I was sold to the crows. I brought a good price, so I hear.
Dude, this is depressing as fuck.
That's very kind of you to say, but it is not necessary. It could have been much worse. Shall I tell you about what happened to the other whorehouse boys who did not fetch a decent price with the crows? Surely your life has not been so idyllic. People like you and I are not the product of happy lives of contentment, after all.
Doggo, can you stop barking for 2 fucking seconds, bud? It's okay.
My original point is that my mother's Dalish nature was always a point of fascination for me. Through all the years of my crow training, the one thing of my mother's that I possessed was a pair of gloves. They were of Dalish make, I knew that much, and beautiful. I had to keep them hidden, of course, as we were not allowed such things. Eventually, they were discovered, and I never saw them again. I don't feel anything about them. Oh, we heard about them in the city, even deep in Antiva. I even had the notion once to run off and join them. Naturally, the reality did not live up at all to the fantasies I had constructed as a boy, staring at those gloves. But such is life. Come, enough talk of the Dalish. Let us move on.
So he's got moderate. I wish it told me how much dexterity they bumped it up. I'm assuming it's like 2, 4, 6, and 8.
What say you?
Question
By all
is-
means.
Alright, you have new adventures?
Again. Well now, what might interest you, I wonder? Shall I describe the stages involved with Lanthrax poisoning? I watched a man go through all 7 once.
There's 7 stages?
Haha, you have rather macabre tastes, I see. I like that. Let's see, how about the largest battle I ever took part in? That would have been the slaughter of Prince Osrin. Did you hear of that down in these parts? Me? Not personally, but I did take part in the attack. Prince Azrin was fourth in line to the throne, you see. He started off as 11th, but worked his way up the old-fashioned method by inheriting control of an entire Crocell from his grandfather. After assassinating his way through the royal family, the king hired 3 other cells to take down Prince Azrin once and for all. I was in one of those cells. Antivan royalty is very much bound up in the Crows. You wouldn't want it run by a bunch of commoners, after all, would you? And this means they get involved in politics quite often. This particular fight nearly bankrupted the nation, I understand. It almost ended up putting a Crow on the throne, a commoner. But that's a whole different story. I played a very small part. My part in the entire battle was taken up trying to reach Princess Verina, who had thrown in with her brother. I killed about 11 of her guards personally before I got knocked out of a window. I landed in a river and nearly drowned. I was fished out by some urchins who robbed me blind. Made off with my boots, too. At least they didn't cut my throat. And that was my part in history. It's true. I live a charmed life. One of the prostitutes that raised me was a fortune teller. Said I wouldn't die young. She was rather startled by that. But there you go. Tale told. Let's be off before I tell more embarrassing stories, huh?
I fucking love these stories.
What say you? By all means.
Oh, we got more!
Well, the only one that's really worth telling is the story of the mission right before I came to Ferelden. But no, I would rather not. I shouldn't have said anything. Nothing that I would prefer to speak of. Perhaps another day, I'm sorry.
Rats.
What say you? I could teach others, but not yourself. First, I would need someone who has training as a rogue. That is, unless you would care to spend the years it takes to gain the fundamentals.
Nope.
But if there should be such a person who desires this training, yes, by all means, send them to me. The crows are already furious, no? I shall enjoy tweaking their nose further.
Excellent.
What say you?
Do you stare at everyone? Nope.
Oh, this should be good. What would you like to discuss?
Fine. Okay, I think we're good with him. I think the staring in the eyes leads to romance. Doggo, I love you, but I wish you would stop barking every 2.5 seconds. We need to go talk to Wing, because that'll unlock the Spirit Healer. Which I think you can get 2 specializations.
What's
and
on your mind?
Spirit Healer and Arcane Warrior is baller. Why did the Spirit choose to help me?
I have always had an affinity for the spirits of the Fade. As a child, I never feared my dreams because I knew they were there.
That's a little creepy.
I've always been able to feel the spirits, even if I never saw them. And as I nurtured my talent in the circle, I became more sensitive. I began to notice every time I was in the Fade, whether it was in a dream or in magical practice, that I was being watched. I suppose they must. It is these benevolent spirits that create our dream worlds in the Fade. Sometimes I would see it, a glowing, nebulous form. Most times I would just feel its presence, gentle and comforting, but somehow alien. I think it is a spirit of faith. They have never been seen before, and perhaps I am wrong. But something tells me I'm not. It always felt like the same entity. This one spirit was curious about me, and was guarding me, for want of a better word. There were times when I was in the Fade that it seemed to stretch forth to shield me, keeping me safe. And I think it gave me strength in my most terrible battles, Ostagar being one of them. I don't know why I was chosen. Perhaps it knew that there was something more that lay in store for me. I like to think that I was given a rare chance, and I'm going to make the best of the time so generously given to me. I will not lie motionless in a bed with coverlets up to my chin, waiting for death to claim me. That is not the death for me. And so I will fight alongside the Grey Warden and help prepare him for the task that is yet before him. So you had better listen to me, because I swear, if I should fall before the end and you don't seem to be doing things properly, I'll get up again to give you a good finger wagging.
God damn it, Win.
You know, I think you'll be all right, even without my help.
I forget how cool these characters are. Well, most of these characters, I should say. Alright, more talking.
What's on your mind?
Something we can do to cure you.
Cure me? What, am I sick now?
You're a little dead.
Even you know that you cannot cure the dead. And I'm not the only one dying. You are too. I'm just more efficient about it. Ah, child. Your concern is heartwarming. But death comes to everyone, and it is not something to fear.
I don't fear death. I don't fear death. It's the dying.
People fear not death, but having life taken from them. Many waste the life given to them, occupying themselves with things that do not matter. When the end comes, they say they did not have time enough to spend with loved ones, to fulfill dreams, to go on adventures they only talked about. But why should you fear death if you are happy with the life you have led? If you can look back on everything and say, yes, I am content. It is enough.
Yeah, I guess. Because we always want more. I think it depends on the person you are. Are you content?
I think I've led a good life, a full life, and I, for one, am not afraid of death, whatever it may bring. They say that when you die, your spirit travels through the Fade and returns to the Maker. And after that, we'll see, won't we? What's on your mind?
I could have swore that she's the one who teaches you how to be a spirit healer.
I try not to dwell too much on the mistakes of my past, of which there are many. I would go quite mad if I did that. But I do have one regret. The greatest misstep of my life, made even more grave because it had dire consequences for someone else.
That sucks.
Years ago, I was assigned as mentor to a lad, Anarin. He was my first apprentice. Anarin was an elf, raised in one of the elven alienages, and he was very mistrustful of humans, especially humans in authority.
I mean, you really can't blame him.
All he knew of the humans was what he had seen in the alienage. He was very wary of us. What Anarin needed was time. Time to get used to his new home. Time to emerge from his shell, so we could build a rapport. I gave him no such time. I was young and arrogant. He is a mage, I thought. He needs to grow up and act like one. I expected too much from him, too quickly. I gave no consideration to his origin or his feelings, and he retreated further from me. All I could think of was how stubborn he was, how he was throwing away all his talent and his potential just to be difficult. Oh, I dread to think. I was a harsh taskmistress. He might have thought I was a demon in disguise. You cannot plant crops in the cold, wintry ground. You cannot teach a student who is closed off and unresponsive. Patience is what is needed. And I learned that too late to help him. Anarin ran away from the Circle one night. I had berated him over some trivial, ridiculous matter that I no longer remember. I drove him away because of something utterly unimportant. He was a child, 14 at the time of his leaving. They had his phylactery, and they hunted him down.
Oh, that sucks.
They called him Maleficar, a mage who practices forbidden magic, deserving of death. He was a child, misunderstood and lost. I begged the Templars to tell me if he suffered, if they gave him a quick death. I got no answers from them. I was his mentor, and they wouldn't even tell me what became of him.
That's pretty sad.
I should have known better. I had the best mentors. They were kind, compassionate. Why didn't I learn from them? I failed Anarin. All I had to do was listen to him. He would try to talk to me, and I would tell him to concentrate on his spells. He talked about the alienage sometimes, and the Dalish. He always talked about looking for the Dalish elves. The Templars are well trained and thorough. That he still lives, it would be a vain hope. The apprentices that came after Anarin benefited greatly from the lessons I learned from him. In a sense, he was my teacher, and I his student. And there it is. My story, my one greatest regret.
I guess we could go to the Dalish, or the
What's on
Brazilian
your
forest and
mind?
take a peek. Okay.
I will answer to the best of my ability.
What is our friendship? Okay, so we're killing it with that. It's Dalish, sort of man. Let's talk to Liliana.
I was just thinking about what happened to the elves, and I'm reminded of a song sung to me many years ago. It was when my mother died, and this wise elven woman comforted me and told me that we shouldn't fear death or hate it. Death is just another beginning. One day, we must all shed our earthly bodies to allow our spirits to fly free. It's a beautiful sentiment, I think. One that brings peace and hope to the grieving.
What? Holy shit! I mean, that wasn't no Priscilla like Witcher 3, but that was awesome! How do I not remember this? That had to have come in with, like, Origins expansion stuff, because that was super cool.
Something I can help with?
Can I don't know, like, how do I make you happy for that song? That was great.
Yes? What's on your mind?
I don't really have any tales to share.
Something I can help with?
Okay, we're good. Let's talk to Sten.
You called. I am hardly surprised. To put it lightly, no one has a place here. Your farmers wish to be merchants. Very well. Speak, then. Then I suggest we move on.
Alright, Sten's good. Let's go talk
As
to
you wish.
Morgan. Which, frankly, I ended up falling into a romance with her, which I'm, I guess, not really disappointed with, but not as happy with either.
Yes?
I'd like to ask you something.
So, full of questions, are you?
Oh,
Yes.
wow. I think we...
We're in camp, so 'tis as good a time as any.
Alright, I think we are good on the war. Talk to Wynn, talk to Stan, Alistair, Severin, Liliana. Yeah, I think we're solid. So I'm going to make the cut here and probably think of where to go next. I really want to go to the Deep Roads. I know that's like a very loot-heavy area, and that's one of my favorite places in this game. However, with me being an arcane warrior, there is a weapon I really want to find, and I know it's not there. So I might look where that is, but I don't know. We'll figure it out. As always, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.